Hey guys, I got a fun video today. I thought you'd be interested in seeing how I make money with bees beyond honey. And welcome to Colorado Mountain Living, where we share our story of creating our dreams one project at a time. And today I wanted to show you one of my dreams that's come true. I've actually been able to replace my income from my previous career with my beekeeping hobby. And it's probably not the way that you're expecting. It's not by selling honey. I've actually gone in a completely different direction, started making jewelry based on the honeycomb design, and it's been a success since I've moved here to Colorado. So I'm going to show you all of the ways that I've made money through beekeeping in the last 7 years and which idea has been the best. So I think when everyone starts off, selling honey seems like the most obvious choice. And we had a neighborhood sale. It was really cute. The kids got into it and it was really popular. And then the more I got into producing honey, some years were really, really good. And I was selling jars of honey to people at the gym, friends in the neighborhood, family. So it seemed like a pretty good idea, but it still was a lot of resources. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll take the honeycomb and just sell comb honey and I can charge a little bit more. People were asking for it anyway, so I was cutting it into chunks and selling comb honey, but still it was using up a lot of my resources. And then I found about just rendering beeswax. So I would collect all of my beeswax, melt it into a solar wax melter, and start making products from beeswax. The first thing I made was a candle, and that took almost all of my beeswax, so I decided not to sell candles. I may have sold one or two at a craft show, but I moved into making healthcare products, like skincare products. So these are lotion bars, and they were really popular at craft shows. And then from the lotion bar, I tried out other recipes, and I found my hit. It was the deodorant bar made with beeswax. And I listed this on Etsy and it was my best seller for 2 years. I probably made close to $1,000 selling these on Etsy. Because I had such good success with the deodorant bar, I decided to continue with the skincare products and did more with honey. I made a natural face scrub, infusing it with honey from my beehives, and it was really popular enough that my local retail store picked it up as a product. And then I decided I wanted to kind of experiment a little bit with jewelry. I was doing some craft shows and I was selling a little bit of jewelry at the time with bees on it. And I noticed that the margins were a lot better and it was easier to make more money selling fewer things doing jewelry. So I thought I would continue with this and try to improve my designs. In the meantime, though, wanted to collect all of my ideas together that I experimented with so far in a book. So I wrote an ebook that's actually available on Amazon and Kindle about how to make money making crafts from beekeeping. So I think writing is just a great avenue to have perpetual income. Once you write the book, it's out there and it can make money for you in the future. So that's always an option. Once you get a lot of experience in a certain area, or if you have a lot of insights or ideas, you can always put it together in a book. And if you don't have enough to write a thick novel, you can put together an ebook, even if it's just 20 pages, and you've got something out there on Amazon as a resource for anybody that's interested. And I kept experimenting and playing around with things I thought would be fun to make. I loved the honeycomb design, so I was playing with resin, making keychains and ornaments, and eventually sculptures that I was trying to find ways that I could make a better margin and make more money off of things that weren't taking a whole lot of time. And I was making things just for the joy of making. Like I was making handmade books and adding honeycomb to it. I was making little tiny bee houses for solitary bees and mason bees, and they were so cute, but they took hours and hours to make, and it just wasn't like that sustainable income that I was looking for from my beekeeping hobby. So I came back to the jewelry, and I came back to the honeycomb design, which is what people thought was really popular. And the honeycomb design was difficult to make, and it did require lots of skill. So I just kept working it, improving my designs, making it better, and finding a streamlined way to produce jewelry and finding the right outlet to be able to make this more of a full-time income. So I just started doing a lot more. I started participating in a lot more events, a lot more shows and festivals, and this is where I got all of my information. I learned what people liked the most. I learned what designs were popular. I learned what to make more of. I learned what events attracted the right crowd. I learned what things to change about my display to make it more appealing. So all of this helped me figure out maybe what my average income per show was. And then I just had to do more shows. So when I moved to Colorado, I filled up all of my weekends with as many events as I could participate in, and I started generating a decent income. And by this point, I felt like I knew what I was doing. All of the quality had come to a new level. Brian had custom made all of my displays. All of my fabrication for the jewelry was hand done. So I end up coating the beeswax with copper to make a complete replica of the honeycomb, and then I turn that into jewelry. They're all unique, one-of-a-kind pieces. They have a great story behind it because it's made by a beekeeper. And they're very unusual. It's not something that you would see every day. So I'm able to charge a little bit higher pricing for it. Plus, the work itself takes many steps and it's very complicated to do, and it's hard to replicate. So the next thing that I added in addition to the shows was getting into retail. So I started putting my items in retail shops, and that generated even more income when I wasn't there in person to sell it. When I look back on my total sales for the month of September, I compared it to the previous year of September income from nutrition, and I had earned more money with my jewelry business than I had as a dietitian. As our homestead grows, what are my goals for income as a beekeeper? I'm definitely going to keep expanding my hives. I enjoy the hobby of beekeeping. I'll probably get into more honey sales, but I think I'm going to keep it local. I'm not interested in expanding all over Colorado or being the #1 honey seller, but I think having a premium alpine honey would be great. I'll probably expand my hives as well. I don't know that I'll do top bar. This is what we had in North Carolina, but I'm thinking Ware hives or modified Langstroth's hives would be great. But overall, I'd like to keep going with the jewelry, and I'll probably take that into another level. I'll probably start getting into silver, adding more semi-precious stones like the opals you see here. And I'll probably just work on my craft to make it better and just try to get a higher price for my jewelry and keep it more special. I'm also going to expand more into retail. I'm going to try to get more wholesale accounts, more consignment accounts, and I think that would be a really nice way to not have the pressure of doing a lot of live events every year. And then down the line, just between us, I think I'm going to get into mead more. I love mead making. I'm going to attach a link to the video of my mead making, and I wouldn't be surprised if I see a meadery in our future. So it's definitely an unconventional way to take beekeeping and turn it into an artistic hobby. But for me, it's been able to produce, I would say, on par of a full-time income, at least what I was used to making back when I was a full-time dietitian in my own practice working part-time. So hopefully you got some inspiration or some ideas for a different way that you can take your beekeeping hobby and do it another direction. There's more than just selling honey as ways that you can generate income from your bees. And you don't necessarily have to have a dozen hives to be able to bring in a decent income from beekeeping. So thanks for tuning in today, and join us next time for a video on mortise and tenon work. Brian has developed his own template, a jig system where you can replicate cuts to make your own dovetails, to make your own mortise and tenon joinery. That's what he's going to use on the house. So it's a very interesting video. I think he's going to divide it into a few parts, but if you're interested in mortise and tenon work, that's going to be something that you don't want to miss because he's come up with an original idea and he's tested it out and it's working really well. So thanks for joining today. We'll see you next time. Colorado Mountain Living. Take care.